and welcome to the Roker Report Podcast with your host, James Copley, Connor Bromley, and Gav. And also joined by Chris Kern.
Thank you to the X Factor guy for that glowing introduction. Wow. That was good. Anyway, hello and welcome to episode 64 of the Roker Report Podcast. As you heard, we're joined by Connor Bromley. How are you doing?
I'm good. I enjoyed the intro.
Good
Better than any shite you say, anyway.
Well, there you go. There you go. Gav, how are you doing?
I'm not bad, how are you?
Not too bad, mate. And we're joined by Chris Cam.
I'm not doing the whole show like that. Like.
You pulled the curtain back, you ruined it. He's not actually here.
I know, people thought we had the guy from the X Factor now. We don't. But
no.
Would have been a coup if we could have got him. We've got the next best thing. Bolden's Gav.
Yeah.
Right. We could get the dramatic, choral music for the opening.
Could do.
If anybody wants a cheaper alternative to the X Factor guy to do voiceovers for their adverts on the radio, and I'm easy bought.
How cheap?
Pot noodle.
We are very easily bought on this podcast. Like. Right, so this week we lost to QPR. Jason Steele lost his mind again. We are last in the table, so we will go to the 3-word review.
It's not great.
Bilbo Ball Baggins says no longer care.
What a name.
John says all hope lost. John Ridley says expected, never unexpected. Tom Atkinson says Jesus wept. James Lawson, Coleman bottled it. Oh, he loves hammering into Coleman, does James Lawson, doesn't he? Dave Garden, disaster after disaster. Adam, just dropped Fletcher. Craig Davies, championship, so yesterday. And Dave Garden says Rotten Core wins. Kyle Tate says someone kill Fletcher. Kyle Tate says Coleman out now. Kyle Tate says get rid Fletcher. Kyle Tate says League One inbound. Kyle Tate said Steele is shit. Kyle Tate
he's
furiously typing on his keyboard on this.
Raging.
Steve N says make it stop. Thomas Scott, what happens next? Alex Campbell, it gets worse. Jake Collinson, Steele you cunt. Casper the Noncer, embarrassment seemingly endless. Reece Benson, Steele's fucking shite. Michael Scott-esque put on a gif with who was he?
Nate Diaz after he beat Conor McGregor,
saying I'm not surprised. Bledge says please just stop. SAFC North Yorkshire says we are shite. Well, as always with the 3-word review, there's a common theme developing. Connor, what do you make of the result?
Well, it was poor from start to finish. You know, the effort was, I would say, was there this weekend, which we can't always say, but it was. But just got outdone by a ridiculous mistake. You know, not only does he misjudge the flight of the ball, Jason Steele, he decides to punch it. Let it go over your head. Let them score. Let him maybe miss the chance. You never know what'll happen. Might be a covering defender. And don't punch it in the air so obviously. At least punch it less obviously than what he did.
I don't think he could have. He was at full strength stretch, wasn't he?
But the worst thing is he misjudged such a simple over-the-top ball. Why was he even coming out to try and head it? I don't even know. Just another example of how goalkeeping's going to cost for our place in this league. Well, it's already cost for because there's no way we're staying up now.
So the result leaves us 8 points behind Hull, Reading and Bolton. More importantly, we're now 4 points behind 21st place Barnsley, who also have a game in hand. As the fixture list shows, it isn't over as long as Sunderland can actually manage to win some football matches. Gav, how likely is that to happen?
Very unlikely. I just think this team doesn't have it in them, even when they're playing 100%. They don't have it in them to be able to, I don't know, go at a team. I mean, we saw them do it against Hull, but how long ago was that? You know, it's these games have been few and far between. The performances have been few and far between. And I mean, I don't mean to sound completely downtrodden and negative, but I just think that's it now. I just don't see where we get. I mean, what we need, probably 5 wins maybe to say you were safe. We're 9 games. We've won 5 all season. It ain't happening. And I think the goalkeeping point that Connor just made is a pertinent one. I think that you look at the majority of the games we've lost this season, and you know, a vast majority of them there's been a mistake by a keeper or a defender or whatever. Just too many individual errors really have cost us. And when you heard Martin Bain at the start of the season talk about efficiency when selling Vito Minoni, it kind of looks like the most stupid thing he could have said, because, well, you know, we've replaced him with 3 keepers. None of them have got the ability he's got in the little fingers.
He's just on a long line of mountain bane calamities, in my opinion.
I mean, to be honest, at the time, trying to look optimistically at everything, I thought, yeah, well, fair enough. Time was up and he wanted to leave, this and the other. I mean, it's looking at the biggest error ever now, because none of those keepers are good enough, and Jason Steele has had about 80 chances this season. That's probably the last time we'll see him in a Sunderland shirt, and thank fuck for that.
But Chris, would you have Stryjek come in just for the banter?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I have to agree with you in that we are already down. I'm trying to be a bit more positive and say that at least it's obvious what we need, in the sense of like the reason we conceded that goal was because Catamol was too slow, Shea did this, that, or the other. But when it comes to goalkeeping, we haven't got an option that's good enough. So Stryjek has to come in and have a try. He must be sitting on the bench wondering what he has to do to get a chance. Because I mean, if he doesn't get one now, he never will.
It's the same old story for us, though, isn't it? Because the opening exchanges of the game were fairly evenly contested. Neither team really troubled the other, and then we just go and throw it all away again.
Did anyone watch? It is related to this, but did anyone watch the Forest Derby game?
No.
Well, Pantilimon was available in January, and he pulled off 3 or 4 worldy saves, and surely we could have been all over.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I think you've made the point on Twitter, Connor, regularly this season that our choice in goalkeeper has lost us points. It's not all down to the goalkeeper. I don't think would be out of the relegation zone.
They've cost us about 20 points this season.
Actually, I think we would have capitulated anyways. But
it does make a difference. Though.
Yeah, no, it does make a massive difference.
There aren't many performances this season for a goalkeeper where you can look at like I saw Lee Camp's review in your review, Gav. It was wasn't at fault for the goal. Couldn't really have done a lot more. We haven't had many performances from keepers this season that are like that, where you can say like, oh well, not his fault. He had a solid enough game. They've all been that rickety and poor that you actually can blame them individually.
The point you could put to that is that we had Jordan Pickford last season, finished bottom of 24 points. He didn't make that much of a difference, even though he is a top keeper. I agree, to be honest. I think that a good keeper would have made a difference, but I think a good defender would have made a difference too.
I think we'd be better off, but would still be going down.
Yeah, to be honest, there's a million reasons why we are where we are.
That was me. Yeah. That was what my point was going to be. You can't just pinpoint the goalkeeper. Catamol's a problem. O'Shea's a problem.
Yeah, but it all stems from...
Ashley Fletcher's a problem.
It all stems from the keeper, though. If you, as a defender, have a goalkeeper you don't trust, then it changes your decision making.
It can do, but I think most of the players trusted Jordan Pickford last season and they still went down.
Yeah, but that was... I think everyone can accept that Sunderland were running out of time in the Premier League. I don't think you could really attribute.
And I think last season
Sunderland have stayed up with better keepers behind them.
Last season the squad was a lot more disjointed. I think there was a lot more players that were like disinterested and disconnected from each other as well as the club. And I think at least this season the squad that we have there, like players like Ajaria, although they're on loan, they do actually care about performing and having a run out. George Honeyman, he wears his heart on his sleeve every time he steps out. We've got a lot more togetherness in the squad, but it's not making any difference due to the lack of quality everywhere.
On George Honeyman as well, Coleman did a piece today that's been published. One of the quotes from that piece was, "George Honeymans don't grow on trees." To what extent is George Honeyman underrated by... Are you going to let me finish anything today? Jesus Christ. To what extent is George Honeyman underrated by Sunderland fans?
Massively in my eyes. I don't actually think he's a top player. I just think that when you look at the main complaints of Sunderland fans this season towards players, you couldn't level any of that at George Honeyman. I think he plays, at his peak every week. Alright, sometimes that might not be good enough. But at a time when Sunderland players on the pitch couldn't be more disconnected from the fans, I think he's the one in there that gets it. It kills him when we get beat.
Well, Coleman says he wants to be in the side. When he's not in the side, he's asking why. He wants to play for Sunderland. He wants to be there.
Well, at the minute, that's good enough.
Yeah,
more than good enough.
Me as well.
And who knows what the future holds for George Honeyman at Sunderland. I think he's played something like 37 games this year. A lot for a first season, playing a competitive level. All right, we've struggled, but he's played pretty much every position on the park.
What do I make of Coleman's comments though? Because to me it sounded like Coleman may be planning for life next season no matter what, because he says he wants to build a side around George Honeyman. For me, although I agree with him, the most positive thing I took from that piece was that Coleman might be around next season.
Yeah, that was a that was a big hint towards that. And to be honest, there's been nothing to suggest that otherwise, really.
I can't remember who commented it on Twitter, but it was a journalist saying he's basically waiting on the summer coming around and the promises he's been made being kept.
Yeah,
and
maybe
that'll be
Nick
the only
Barnes.
reason.
Yeah.
So if Coleman stays, then you've got to say, well, at least these promises have been kept, and at least they were good enough promises to convince him to stay, even if we do get relegated. Which is a tiny little light, I suppose, at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and there's we've said on this podcast before, there's no doubt that Coleman has made tactical mistakes at times this season, I think it's fair to say. Squad choices haven't been great. This leads on to a tweet from Mobile Mackham, who says, "Stop blaming Coleman. If somebody asks you to saw a lump of wood with a fish, then you'd look incompetent too. The bloke has balls for taking on an impossible job. We need him when the sale goes through, and Ellis Short, get the fuck out of our club."
Nice little touch at the end.
Well, I mean, the point stands, doesn't it? It's he's the man. He's the man to get behind, and he's the man that I think the majority of supporters look at and think, I can see him leading us through better times. It's just a case of getting to that point, being patient enough to get there. I mean, God knows we've been patient, Sunderland fans, but I think this time we have got the right manager. Although I'm devastated to see the club where it is, I'm not fearful of football in League One if Chris Coleman's a manager, because I think when you assess the size of the task at hand, the overhaul of players that there's going to have to be inevitably, you're talking about a different prospect this time next year. And I know people thought that when we got relegated from the Premier League, but this just feels different. It feels different. I think there's a real core of young players there who are very inexperienced, aren't ready yet. But Coleman repeats it all the time. He says they'll have learned a lot from this. The likes of Madja, the likes of Asoro, the likes of Honeyman, Ethan Robson, and then you've got others on the precipice like Stryjek, Embleton, Luke Molyneux, who's probably the most impressive player in that 23s group for me.
Well, he scored twice against Everton on Saturday, and we had Lyndon Gooch, who was on the bench against QPR, but he scored against Newcastle twice. I made the point on Twitter that is it not time that we're kind of dispensed with some of the older pros that have continually failed and just give the young lads a chance? They might not keep us up, but I think they'll give us a lot of effort.
I think the problem is that until it's actually over, Coleman's not going to surrender that.
No, that's true.
I think if Sunderland are down with 4 games to go, then you'll see them play.
But do the pros warrant a chance to get us out of it at the moment? I'm not sure they do.
Definitely needs to be a change. Go on, Connor.
I'd say no. Like, I would change it. I would have changed it, I think, probably in about February.
And if football's meritocratic, then why is Luke Molyneux, Josh Robson, why they're not getting chances?
Well, why are we playing lone players of other teams when
that's the thing that bugs me.
Yeah, me too.
Because we're giving Ajari. I'm nothing against Ajari. He seems all right, but we're giving players like him and Fletcher game time. We've got our own young lads who need game time.
Tom Beadland out on loan, Andrew Nelson out on loan, doing well. Could they have provided options this season? Definitely, especially given the terrible injury list we've had.
It might. I think. Say the Scottish Championship's a good learning ground, but it's not a relegation battle in the English Championship. You know what I mean?
It's not, but it'll probably serve.
That's
well
what I mean.
League
That's what I was
next
trying to
season,
say. Yeah, I think that they'll have learned a lot more from going away from Sunderland, and trying to prove themselves and sitting on our bench, which is a big problem I've got with the way it works. Anyways, I think why are players like Ethan Robson, Madja, Asoro, why are they just making their first impressions now? Why were those players not on loan last year? Like, at Christmas, it was obvious where this club was going, and it was a Championship. Every one of those lads should have been loaned out because they would have got clubs for them. And I don't care if that's in the Championship, League One, League Two, Conference. Just getting away from Sunderland and getting them in a different changing room and being in the day-to-day with players who've got mortgages and families to feed and it's all on the line. That means a lot more than playing under 23s football. And unfortunately, we're asking a lot of these kids who've never really been anywhere but Sunderland. I
think when watching the under 23s, it's a timid game. Nothing against the quality of it. They do play nice football, but it doesn't have that. That nastiness that you see in the proper man.
It just doesn't come.
So I think I agree that you should have had them out on loan. We should have done that for years. You know, we've let players like John Egan leave and essentially have his loan spell at Gillingham, but permanently, and now he's a good Championship player. That's an issue that they need to rectify, and they'll rectify it themselves because next year they're going to be the only players we've got.
Yeah.
And they should be good enough for League One. Embleton, for me, I mean, I know we'll talk about Molineux, but Embleton is the prospect that I'm most looking forward to seeing in League One. I can't see why he wouldn't be playing every week. He can take corners, seems very inept. Very inept. That's what it is. Very
Adept.
Good. Yeah, adept. That's
Is he seasoned enough though for you, Connor?
Well, you get it in League One. That's the beauty of it. You know, these players will be who wanted loan spells to lower leagues will essentially be having it by just playing for Sunderland.
But then again, why was Embleton not loaned out in January even, you know? What good's it doing him playing for our under-23s? I just don't understand it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, he looked good against Newcastle in that under-23s game. He got on the ball, made positive passes. His first touch was excellent, I thought. But then, why couldn't he be having a game like that against like Accrington or Morecambe or someone?
He's an England under-19s international. The majority of that England under-19s team will have been loaned out. Like somebody I was speaking to the other day, I won't name him, but he sent us it was the teams from when the under-23s played 3 years ago against Chelsea and beat them 3-1. And the Chelsea team is littered with names you'll all know, players who are playing the Premier League now. The Sunderland team, half of them have been released. Something's went wrong there, hasn't it? If they're going down to Chelsea, beating them 3-1, that Chelsea team had like Tammy Abraham, the lad who's at Huddersfield, I think he got promoted with him.
Brown. Is he Brown?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Just a number of players.
Chelsea Palmer as well.
Yeah, he was in there as well.
Chalobah, Loftus-Cheek.
Those type of players. Yeah, like players we all know. Sunderland went down there and beat them. That was only 3 years ago. Majority of them players are like Premier League names now. So, the majority of the Sunderland lads aren't there anymore. Like Tommy Robson got released. I think Mandron was in there. Like players like that, you just think like something's went wrong there.
We're getting that development between 17 and 19 wrong. Whatever it is.
Big style.
Because they've got good quality players. I've been watching the under-23s pretty much all my life, like on and off, going to the games. And you often think, oh, there's a good player. Luscombe, oh, he's a great player, him. Hurricane, you know, we ended up getting rid of him. He's turned out to be a good player. There's so many we looked at. I'm like, yeah, I can see a future with them. Tunkara, I used to like to look at him. And it just goes wrong, and that must be on our end.
Mikael Mandron.
Yeah, Mandron.
Yeah, Mandron was a
Ryan Noble.
His loans were Hartlepool and Shrewsbury,
I
weren't
think
they?
went to Fleetwood as well. None of them went well.
I was going to say, I don't think
Yeah.
Michael Mandron
He
was
struggled
good
a
enough,
bit.
mind. But
No, but
I think players have left this club that have been, definitely.
But he might have been too old when he was going out. That's what I'm saying. Like
Ryan
17-year-old, at 17-year-old, they should be playing Conference North standard football, even Northern League. 18-year-old, try and get them in the Conference. 19 League 2. Like there's got to be a step by step because clubs will take them.
Beckham, I remember
It's,
Beckham,
you know.
different scale, but Beckham went to Preston. Lampard went to Swansea at really, really young ages, and they all talk about being thrown into it, and they just had to do it. Otherwise, the senior pros would hammer them because they're wage dependent on it.
George Honeyman, like I said earlier, he's played 37 games or something this season, and his only stint away from Sunderland was like a month loan at Gateshead a couple of years ago. It's just not right, is it? There's something went wrong there.
So you think we only ever seem to loan to like Gateshead and Hartlepool?
There's
and
no progression.
local.
No progression.
Do you not think it's maybe an over-reliance on those players to try and achieve results at 23s level? Like, for instance, we got to the final of the International Cup last year against Porto.
Which was a good PR
Yeah,
exercise in PR when the club was on its knees.
basically, yeah. But the lads who played in that game are like, the majority of them never went out on loan. Like, I think Soro Madja played up front in that game, I think.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, they're both first teamers now, which is great. I mean, I like Joe Lasoro. I think he's doing well for an 18-year-old. I think he's 18, isn't he?
He's 18.
I don't know. I just think with some of them, the ones who maybe don't stand out, who could benefit from loans away, aren't being given that chance. And it would be nice maybe next season to see, because there's a lot of the 18s are actually playing in the 23s now. Players like Jack Diamond, Jake Hackett, Lee Connolly, the striker.
Excuse the pun, but Jack Diamond looked rough. He looked rough against Newcastle. He looked good, he looked talented, but you'd see there was a lot of his game that needed
He's only 16, you know.
He's
refining
been
and
fast-tracked.
whittling down. Yeah. So obviously, you know, he'll have a year or two more at the academy, but then he needs to go out on loan and get that real game experience.
You know, he came from futsal, so I think until the age of 14 he only played futsal. So technically, like, very good, But
Yeah.
again, small, slight. Looks about, but he might actually learn quite a lot from stepping up a bit.
His like decision making and his timing seemed a bit off to me against Newcastle. He didn't seem to have the full picture yet. But again, 16-year-old. I
think along with Barley Mumba, he's the one they've got the.
Do you think
highest hopes for?
He was fairly impressive when he played against Newcastle.
Who's that? Sorry, Mumba. Yeah,
he looks good there.
They don't know which foot's his best foot.
I can't pronounce his name or spell it on a match report, but he was good.
I think that's what I was.
No, you're thinking of Kimpy Walker, are you not?
Oh, that's
Benji.
He's decent as well, though.
Because he's physically a lot bigger than the lads he's playing against.
Huge.
Even though he's an 18s player, he looks like big and strong and tough, which is what Mandron looked like in Tunkara. You know what I mean?
He was out on the wing though, wasn't he?
Oh, sorry,
MK was out on the wing though. I believe.
Was he? I don't
playing
know.
up front with Gooch, kind of.
Nah, he was drifting out of the wing.
And then they also had that Connor Shields playing. It was kind of like a weird front three sort of thing.
It was very fluid, and Gooch was kind of like false nine, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was nice. It was sort of unusual though, because it was like we had 4 up front pressing their back 4, and then 4 at the back, and then 2 in the middle, just sort of sitting right deep as well. It was an odd one.
I just don't think these young players get any form of reward for their efforts.
Well, the club now needs to sort of. I mean, if I was Martin Bain right now, I would be studying Southampton and how they went down to League One and rebuilt the club through youth. That's what they did, essentially. I know they've always had a famously good youth academy, but the amount of good players that have come up from that system now.
They had a lot of money, mind. The Libas behind them.
No, but not when they initially went to League One.
I think they were, weren't they?
No, they went admin.
I'm sure. I remember them standing outside in
sold
collection bullets and that.
Gareth Bale sell-on clause for like $3 million.
Thing is though, like, how many clubs have tried to look at Southampton and replicate it and haven't?
See,
I think Sunderland have got to be Sunderland.
I was about to say we should err on the side of caution when trying to copy other people's philosophies. We need to. You
can learn from them.
Yeah, you can learn.
You can learn from them. I just think criminally, you've got to look at your own flaws and think, where could Sunderland improve development-wise with these players? And for me, it's not getting them enough opportunities away from the club.
And some things are always in vogue. There's always a team in vogue. It was Swansea for a while. It's been Southampton. It's probably Burnley and Bournemouth now. But even Bournemouth have dropped off a little bit. There's always a club that you look at and think, yeah, we should be doing it that way. And it's not necessarily the right way for your club. You've
got to think, other than Honeyman, the other players have only played this season through necessity, because the players in their positions, the senior players, have been injured, you know. Like, would Asoro and Madja have played if we hadn't got rid of Graben and Vaughan and Watmore had been injured? And would Ethan Robson have played if McNair had been injured all season, or Gibson? Like, the only reason they're playing is through necessity. There was no plan for them to be first team players this season. Maybe part of the squad, but there certainly was no plan for them to be part of the first team. This is what I mean, is like, alright, yes, they're getting a chance and they'll have learned a lot from it, but they shouldn't be in that position. They should be a year going. The players like that should be coming into the first team with like 50 first team appearances behind them at other clubs, in my eyes, a bit like Jordan Pickford did, because do you think
it's a coincidence that Pickford was that good when he came into Sunderland and went for 30 million?
Oh, absolutely not, because
the others haven't.
He played everywhere. He played Preston was the big spell, but he'd been at Bradford before that.
He'd done each league, hadn't he, on the way up?
He'd been in non-league with Boston, Dalton. Like he'd done everything, 100 odd appearances to his name. Like,
invaluable experience.
Exactly, and then you've got, like, you look at the lads who are coming through now, and this is their first chance. It doesn't sit right with me.
No, it doesn't. Right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with you shortly with some Twitter questions, and we will discuss the state of Sunderland and what we think is going to happen next season. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the Roker Report podcast. In the week, the news was announced that the Premier Concourse is going to close. This only affects one of our podcasting party here today, and that is the Blythe man.
I know.
The Bromster. Bromley. Seasoning.
Seasoned Bromley.
Seasoned Bromley.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about your prawn sandwich seats being closed for the season?
I was so glad to get them in the summer, because I used to sit in the back row of the southwest corner, and it was all right, but there was no leg room. And as things went bad last year, it was more likely that I was sitting because we were getting beaten, nobody was standing up. So I was like, right, this year I'm going to move upstairs, sit with the old people, and it's nice up there. You get your own private urinal.
You wear like old people clothes, though. You wear like chinos and jumpers and shirts and stuff like that. So
and
like,
it's bald.
You do fit up there, like, and you know you're in a loving relationship with Beth. Have been for a long time. Got a dog, nice car. He's like old before his time as the Bromley. Oh. He'll be buying a house next. Kids on the horizon.
Kids. Maybe. Who knows?
Beth, if you're listening, watch out.
Nah, wait, she has to have them, not me.
What, sorry?
She has to have them, not me.
Well, I'm sure you play some part in it, then.
Well, I just say hello to it and that.
Do
Give
you
it a
know?
call.
Do you know how it happens, Connor, or do we need to explain?
Have you got past
Go on
first
then,
base?
Chris.
Yes.
Go on, Chris.
Yeah, go on, Chris.
Explain.
You explain.
That would be really good if you explain it in thorough detail.
So, when a mummy and daddy love each other very much,
So their mummy and daddy, so they've had the kid at this point.
this is going to be a nightmare. And he's one of those smart, like, talk you back kids, isn't he?
Welcome to my whole existence. Anyway, so they've you're moving.
So
they're moving you.
they're having to move us. And I was
Aye.
so happy to have that seat. You've been in my seat though. It's a good seat.
That's good. That's as seats go. It's a
It's a
nice
very
one.
nice seat.
You can see the game. It's very nice because you can see the whole of the game.
Yeah, it's a comfortable plastic chair like the rest of them.
No, is it
Red.
not padded?
It's red.
Is it not
pink.
padded?
No,
No.
it's not padded. Don't get
It's not
padded.
a
But by a bizarre twist of fate, you might be going to the padded seats next season.
Yeah,
mightn't you?
that's true. So they have said that they're going to have to move her. We've got an open day that we can attend to pick one new seat. I don't
Oh.
know if we can pick seats that are already taken, like, I'm not sure. But we've been told that we can have the padded middle corporate section for the same price for 3 years. Like at a frozen rate.
That would be nice to watch the conference on with a
Yeah, it will.
with a padded seat.
Do you know why that is though? Because they've filled none of the boxes this season.
Mm.
Like I was in court for the Villa game, and there was nobody round us. Like, I was sat right in the halfway line on them seats. There was nobody round us. There was loads of empty tables in the Montgomery suite where we were. Like loads of empty tables when I've been in there before. When I've been in the league and it's rammed.
Well, I presume what they're doing is they're just going to get rid of that corporate section until they go back up.
Possibly,
I mean,
yeah,
maybe-
because there's quite a lot of different areas of corporate in the ground. I know the boxes have. There's not been many boxes sold this year.
Nah.
So it wouldn't surprise you. I mean, who's going to be paying corporate rates for League One football?
It's no place to take corporate sponsors. If you want to impress somebody, taking them to the stadium. Light is not the best place.
No.
to take
I think if you're going to read into the season ticket prices, I presume the most expensive ticket will be 430 quid, because that's what my ticket is, and I presume that's the rate they're giving us.
Right.
So that would suggest that they'll probably make the most expensive 430 and bring the rest down. I'm not sure, but the Black Cats bar will be 430.
Well, I only pay
Well, the Black
300
Cats bar
odd
will be-
for the southwest corner.
Yeah.
I think it's about 85. 4 payments, 85 quid. Go on, quick maths.
So it'll be what?
Man's not
85, 170, 340.
There you go.
Maths, yo.
Quick maths.
Mental arithmetic.
It's one of the whitest moments in Roker Report history.
Good maths. So, do you want us to read a little bit of
Cultural
the statement?
appropriation is.
Yes, yeah, that would be good. So this is what the club have told you, yeah.
I'd like seasoning before, please.
Dear Connor, thank you for your continued support. As you may be aware, earlier in the season we ceased the sale of match-to-match tickets in the Premier Concourse with the aim of increasing fan numbers within the lower bowl and boosting stadium atmosphere. I don't think it's worked like that.
Bollocks. Next.
The decision has now been taken to close the Premier Concourse at the end of this season to both season card holders and match sales unless demand dictates that additional capacity is required. We believe that closing the Premier Concourse will help us to improve match atmosphere while also reducing the costs associated with safety stewards and kiosk staff in the area.
So that's the bottom
That's
line.
what it
isn't
is.
That's the bottom line.
Where there's only
Reduce the costs.
2 bars open in the top tier now.
So telling you, an even better way to improve match atmosphere is actually win some games occasionally,
Invest in the team on the field.
score some goals, and don't be shit.
The final
You know,
really
that might work.
juicy bits are, should you choose to renew your season card for season 2018-19, we will relocate you to any available seat of your choice within the stadium at no additional cost. Your renewal for the seat will be priced at the same rate as it would have been the Premier Concourse, even if you should choose a seat in a higher price band. Should you select a seat in a lower price band, this price will of course prevail. We will guarantee that you pay no more than this renewal price for the following 3 years. Should the Premier Concourse reopen,
Is it
you'll
Premier
get-
Concourse not expensive though?
It's 430 for me.
So
And
what
that's-
are you going to do, Bromley?
Again, well, obviously, if I was to renew, I'll pay the same price and sit in the comfy seats.
Oh, he's a fucking...
I love it, me. I'll come in like with a suit every week.
See, I go in the south stand, me, and jump around a bit.
You see, I used to like that, but
And then you turn 23 and now you're...
And
yeah.
I started wearing
Well,
cardigans.
I like going to the away games for that reason, but like I just got sick of being in the southwest corner. The atmosphere was getting a bit toxic, like last year.
That's where I sit. But I've had the same seat since 18 years now. It's strange, really. You've got like the same heads have been there for like 18 years. and then like now it's just us. That's all that's left. There's like rows and rows of empty seats around us.
Are you in the
Yeah.
bottom bit or the top bit? Of it?
Row 30,
Oh, right.
so
you're
near the
probably
back.
near me. I was 36.
about 8 rows from the back, I think.
What, you're age 36? So.
Row 36.
Oh, row
Don't be a
36.
dick.
No, I'm not. I was just asking.
Sound like you're being a dick.
No,
Do you
no, no.
reckon Martin Bain will sit in the Premier Concourse just to avoid getting shouted at by people again?
Well, yeah, they're keeping the director's box up there,
Press
the
box.
press box up there, and the away fans up there. Interestingly enough, though, for the away fans, is I presume they'll just give them uncapped tickets because there will be teams that will be buzzing to be at the stadium. Like,
I don't think you can give uncapped tickets in the league.
Do you not think though? They're on about we're looking to improve match atmosphere by moving people downstairs. The only way to really do that would have been able to take the away fans with them.
I agree.
Because I've sat in that seat for years now in the southwest, and even when the games were crap, the atmosphere was improved by having the away fans right next to you. A bit of crack, got the songs going and stuff.
But it always looked bad on TV when they didn't bring any.
It looks bad on TV now.
Well,
though,
yeah,
doesn't
no,
it?
that's true. That's
So
very
it-
true.
Weren't they- I thought they were moving to the northeast corner.
Well, you would presume so, but I imagine it's all linked. Like they spent a lot of money renovating the stadium for the
To-
purpose of away fans upstairs, didn't they?
I suppose
Um,
it'll cost them far less than policing as well.
Well, I can't.
Who you're segregating to? It's like,
Hmm.
whoa, don't start on that empty seat. Whoa, whoa,
well,
don't
Newcastle fans,
start.
under
Oh,
23s.
nice segue back to that.
Alright, well, we polled some Sunderland fans on Twitter, and 52% of just over 2,000 said they will not be renewing season tickets. What effect, if any, could this have on our failing club?
Well, I was thinking about while I was fuming on Saturday night about protest ideas. I don't know if an idea could be as if fans.
You protesting would be the most middle-class thing ever to happen.
I'm from a working class. No, I'm not biting. Screw it.
That was
Anyway,
a bite, that was.
It was.
Colin's like, I've got a perfectly normal sized TV, thank you very much.
Me second car's not that expensive.
Yeah, you paid me out of me dead.
Me chinos are only 3 for 100 quid.
No, all right. A good protest idea could be. I don't know if it'll have any legs, but tell people not renew until certain demands on it.
If you've ever been to a cup game at the stadium, like when there's like
Sugar
12, whenever you're at a cup game at the stadium, like there's like 12, 13,000 in the early rounds against a crap team.
Fidel
That-
Bromley.
Can't wait. Let the man finish.
Sorry, I'm just
How am I getting? Are you comparing me to Fidel Castro?
Fidel Bromley.
Why?
Just got like a Che Guevara image in my head of you going around the streets protesting. Protest of one, a dirty protest.
Anyways,
We're enjoying
no,
ourselves.
when talking about season ticket renewals and stuff, I think if you've ever been to an early round cup game and seen how many people turn up for those, it's going to be something around those lines. I think maybe like 12, 13,000 people renew. I don't think it's going to be good.
I think 12, 13,000's decent.
Probably is for a League One
it will be
side.
for League
Probably
One.
triple the average League One attendance.
But it's just that's probably Sunderland's diehard. Like I'll be there. I can't help myself. Like it's my club at the end of the day.
Loves it. Gav loves it.
No, but I've said plenty of times that this regime and these players will not define my relationship with the club. It's been there my whole life. It's not going to change now.
See, this leads us on very nicely to a contentious issue. We're kind of the older, kind of younger generation, if you know what I mean. We're not
older, younger.
We're not really old, but we've been around long enough to see Sunderland do moderately well.
I'd describe us as the last
If
generation.
I get interrupted again, I'm going to headbutt somebody, I swear.
So
to
you
God.
interrupt me before.
Well, no, that's fine.
You
But
interrupted me
I'm the
before.
host. I'm trying to direct this pod. I'm trying to steer the ship before it goes down like the Titanic, and then me and Bromley will be on the front, and it'll be great. Anyway,
Is that your gauge reading?
yeah, it is. yeah.
Jesus, go.
Anyway, Alex McCain wrote an article about losing a generation. His brother, who I think is 10, he has no reason to support Sunderland. He doesn't want to go. The last line in the article really got me. It was like, my brother came back from his training in his Arsenal shirt in the wash, so he wore his Barcelona kit. And it's like,
What a fickle 10-year-old, eh?
we had a reason to support Sunderland, but I think we're going to lose a generation.
His mum and dad go to Turkey on holiday, get them full strips for a
I
tenner.
got one of them off me nan.
Aye.
I don't think.
Real Madrid, Beckham on the back.
I don't think you lose a generation. I know people talk about it. People talk about League One being the end of the world, and it's not the end of the world.
No, I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but I think we could seriously lose a generation of fans.
I don't think you do,
And
because
it's not even necessarily because League One. We could be in the Championship and be shite, but,
yeah,
kids don't want to come.
But yes, some kids don't want to come, but once it starts turning the other way, kids will. You know, I know
That's
my
the
brother
thing,
used to have a
though.
Man United top.
It's an unknown
Niall.
quality, really, isn't it?
Aye.
Did he?
Yeah.
Niall Bromley with a Man United top.
Yeah.
Dear,
But
dear.
if Sunderland win the first 5-6 games in League One, people will come back. But it's got to be steady. Like, this isn't just a thing that's just come round. This decline, it's been happening for years. Like, how bad have we been since Steve Bruce left, even at home? Like,
Brucey sympathiser.
No.
well, no, I'm just
Got
saying.
with 10th, you know. Got with 10th.
But at home, we've been awful for a long time, and slowly but surely the crowds are dropping and dropping and dropping, and until there's winning football to watch, what sort of like it was that kids for quid tickets not long ago. I can't remember. I think was it the Brentford game?
It was like 3 games over Christmas, wasn't it?
No, but there was one really recently. I'm sure it was the Brentford game. Was kids for quid, and the attendance didn't move a jot.
No, it was Brentford.
Yeah,
'Cause
like
I distinctly remember thinking, like, there's not a lot of families and kids here, and the tickets are a quid.
There
And
was only 19,100 at the Villa game, actually, in the ground.
yeah, you can tell us by looking around. It's ridiculous that. Well, it's not ridiculous. I totally understand why people don't come. And like I said, I'll never change the way I am. I'll always go. It's more than just the match to me. It's a social thing. Spend time with family and stuff, friends. But like, I can totally understand why people are just like, yeah, sod this, like, and encouraging people to pay what they're paying this. Like, if I'm paying the same as what I paid last year in the Premier League, if I'm paying the same to watch League One football, that's going to put a lot of people off. But can the club afford to drop season ticket prices?
What do you think about? We talked about it last week, I think. Do you remember Hartlepool where they sold 7,000 tickets and it meant that everyone got for 100 quid?
Right.
Do you not think that could be a good incentive? As if you sell X amount, if they sold 20,000 season tickets, then everyone gets it for 150 quid. Would that not be a good incentive?
I'm sure Bradford did that.
Yeah, Bradford
this season. Yeah,
Do you honestly think 20,000 people are going to be that arsed about
for 100,
even
for 150 quid?
That's the thing. The level of apathy is just too high.
My brother-in-law goes to every game and half the time doesn't have to pay for a ticket because most people can't be asked to go.
I've got my last 4 free, like, cheese Graham.
Like, no, but like exactly, like the people who are humming and hawing over buying a season ticket know they can get them for now anyways.
Right, 150 quid. Right, James, you don't have a ticket at the minute.
No, I don't.
150
Oh,
quid.
I'll get pelters for that now. Oh God,
He's not a real fan.
Again. I'm not a real fan.
150 quid though. Would you get a season ticket?
Doubtful, like, to be honest.
What, for 150?
Just because
Where's the value for money?
Simply at the moment, my circumstances that I do work a Saturday night, so I don't tend to go to the game. And next season, I don't know where I'm going to be.
Right, 4 payments of what, 60 quid, 50 quid. No, it's less than that. It's 4 payments of like 40 quid.
If I was living in Sunderland and I had a wife in Sunderland and it was the only thing like I was doing, I'd go for it. But I really
Apart
don't.
from the wife.
I really don't know what my circumstances are going to be. That's the thing. Everyone's different, you know. Everyone's got a different set of circumstances. Doesn't make you any less of a fan if you don't get a season ticket in my eyes.
But I just think people who are going to be on the fence about buying one will just be able to pick and choose their games anyways because you've been able to for the last God knows how long. Like, I know they killed all the corporate sponsorship tickets. There was something like 6,000 to 8,000 they reckoned every match day was being given away for free. It does seem ridiculous, but then you look around the stadium and you think you could use those 6,000 to 8,000 people at the games now, couldn't you? Just filling the place out a bit.
Not only that though, it encourages people to come back. If you get a free ticket with your kid and your kid loves football, loves it, then they'll come back.
But then there's the argument,
It's a
like,
big if.
people who buy season tickets, how do they feel about the fact someone sat next to them might not be paying for a ticket? Me personally, I couldn't care less. Like, there was all this talk about potentially like putting the tickets right down for the rest of the season to try and get people in the stadium. And like, I was thinking about it and I was like, well, I pay quite a lot of money for my season ticket every year, but I don't think it would, if it meant that the ground was busier, I think I'd be happy with that. But I don't think many would. Like, and you can, there's so much contention there. Like, I think they're just gonna have to suck it up next year. They're gonna lose a lot of money. Like,
Gav for the many, not the few.
yes.
Jeremy.
Right, we'll move to some Twitter questions.
Loves the Twitter question.
What is the least way? No, what is the least painful way to claw out your own eyes? Asks Kia M. Lad,
The least
with a spoon.
Nah,
It has to be some sort of serrated edge, though, wouldn't you? To
surely
really
you would just want
cut
somebody to
tendons.
like knock you square out so you're unconscious and then get them spooned out.
That's a good shout. Yeah.
I like this one by Adam Thieker, who says, "Can we raffle off a game and goal, raise money for good cause, and improve our goalkeeping choices?"
Why not?
All right.
You get a few entries of that. Big Mickey loves a goalkeeper.
Is it?
All right.
I'm at my little brother's
I can't imagine he's that agile.
14-year-old, 6'2" goalkeeper for his local team. Like, so he's all right. He'd do a job.
If we go down, asks Matthew Lee, what will the summer involve? Selling the club or damage limitation for League One?
It's a bit of a loaded question.
Not really up to us to say Mr. Short, really, isn't it? I think you can definitely say that there's been promises made to Coleman that he's referred to, so something is going to happen in the summer, so there's going to be some investment in the squad. It's going to have to be, because we're going to lose, realistically, we're going to lose Kone, Oviedo, Salter, Brown, and it's already gone. So we'll have no defenders unless they re-sign John O'Shea.
Cornell will be good at League One, like.
Re-sign him? He's signed for another couple of years, isn't he, John O'Shea?
No, it was a 1 year. It was just a 1 year
one year.
extension. He's got to retire soon. Like
He'd be the manager, man.
he might become part of the furniture, but he needs to retire from playing.
Hannah Brown, who is always full of banter, asks, if Sunderland AFC were a song, what song would they be?
I'm
Comfortably numb.
Oh, nice.
What about just Numb by Linkin Park?
Or Numb Encore by Linkin Park Jay-Z.
Toxic by
Nice.
Britney Spears.
Toxic, nice. Good song.
Trying to think of any like money-related songs that insinuate a lack of money, or drive, or determination, or bottle, or balls.
Describe Ellis Short as a gold digger, like, but that's
You could.
not
like
really, because he's put a shit ton of money in it. I just want to put like an aside in. We were talking about before. They've got until.
You're not allowed to put asides in.
Yeah, well, I
ask permission before you put an aside in.
Can I have permission to put an aside in?
Yes, you can.
We have until the 4th Thursday of this month to file for administration without getting a points deduction next season.
Really?
Not saying it's going to happen. I'm just throwing that out there. So if it does happen, I can point you back to this moment and say, "Told you."
It's going to be in the back of my mind all week. That now.
It'd only be 10 points though, innit? We didn't need them.
I'm still trying to think of a song that describes Sunderland perfectly.
Have a look at me.
Do you not think it's going to be something totally random that doesn't?
With
like,
or without you, I can't live with or
No,
without you.
it'd be something like that makes no sense, that has no link to anything, because that's just what living life every day like a Sunderland fan is.
Temptation by New Order, because it's always quite tempting to go
Let's
back.
sing
to
it for us.
No, I can't sing.
What about
it
the
for
tack
Go
song by
on.
Buzzcocks?
That's a good shout.
Because you feel like you need to be on some sort of mild drug to get through life as a Sunderland fan.
Maybe in the summer we can do
Always Like This
a
by
song
Bombay
podcast.
Bicycle Club.
I don't know that.
Oh, you're not
you
cool, I
have to
forgot.
literally sing as the song. I mean, I'm so middle class. Just watch the proms and that's it.
Hate to say I told you so by the Hives. I just watched the proms.
I watch the proms. and
I've got a
complain
good
how
one.
much I
I've
hate
got a
the
good
song.
one. Every Day I Love You Less and Less by the Kaiser Chiefs.
very
that's an
good.
excellent
Nah,
one.
that doesn't describe me.
It
I
does.
still love Sunderland.
Well, I still love them, but every day is a little bit less like. The Importance of Being Idle by Oasis.
Are we just going through your Spotify list now?
But pretty much, yeah.
I'm
Just
sure
having-
the
just having a
listeners are
little look.
really enjoying this.
Is there any of them called like Jason Steele the Donkey or something like that?
No, we should write that song. Maybe we'll bring out
think-
Roker Report
Oh.
records. Surely somebody in the group
I
chat's
don't-
got some musical talent.
Roker Report Podcast, Roker Report TV, Roker Report Records,
What could be?
RRR.
Roker Report merchandise. Why on earth are we not monetizing Short Out?
Would you buy Roker Report merchandise?
If it said Short Out ! And was
Or you had like a picture of Conor Bromley, which
yeah,
I think is,
or
you know.
picture of me punching you in the face as is on.
Is that on
It's gonna
Twitter?
be.
now,
No, it's not yet. It's gonna be.
Oh, nice.
Scary.
like Gab's going to live
Tease.
tweet it. Right, let's have a look. Alex J. McCain says, if we lose at home to Burton, is this the lowest point in the club's history? Statistically, probably yes.
Well, not statistically, because we've been in the 3rd division.
We have, but this is probably the worst, statistically the worst Sunderland team in terms of being relegated.
I think it is. Yeah. Someone posted a table on Twitter
I think
the other
Wiseman
day.
said
No, it's Chris Weatherspoon.
Aye, from ALS.
From
Good lad,
ALS,
Chris.
yeah.
And of real sport, like me and Connor.
Hmm?
Good lad.
Cool.
Good lad.
He posted the facts which that really suggest this is the worst it's ever been.
It is.
Well, I think we'd have to win nearly every game between now and the end of the
Can
season.
it be a team like who's finished bottom of one league and finished bottom of the next?
No, Wolves did.
Bottom and bottom.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's 2 teams have done it in history, and I think both of them were Wolves. You would have to look that up. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Wolves done it in like the 80s, and then they did it. They got relegated. We bought Fletcher off them, and they got relegated.
Oh, a great deal, that one.
And then I think the season after they went. Dean Saunders was manager, and they went down to League One.
Steele, Solback, and then Dean Saunders.
Was it Banks Blake kicking around then as well?
Yeah, but he's
Probably.
now playing. He played at Blythe Spartans the other week for someone. I
Did
can't
he?
remember who it was.
No, bless you.
Shite.
I forgot you're a Blythe fan.
Where I
Never
got
mentioned
to
it.
support a winning team.
Yeah, that's true. Right, anyway, we'll go to a little Preston preview. I think I'm going to put yous on the spot and get yous to do it in 20 seconds because
You love that.
to revive the feature because I
Only
haven't
for
done it in
20
a couple of
seconds.
weeks. Yeah,
Copley loves his 20 seconds.
I do. It's all I last
So
these
does- I
days.
was gonna say, lad.
Right, so I want a score, and I want 20 seconds of why you think that score will ring true. Does that make sense?
So you basically just want us to do a 20-second match preview and prediction.
Pretty much, and then I'll cast the eye over who's going to win.
I
And
never
it probably
win.
won't be
You're
you because I don't
biased,
like you. But why? Why would I be biased to a middle-class man from Blythe?
That's exactly it. I'm a Tory.
No, you're not. Spit on you. No, aye. Unless you can think of a better question. Aye, all right. Right, we'll start with Warcam. 3, 2, 1.
2-1 Sunderland. Sunderland go a goal down and then in the 90th minute score twice through Josh Madger and Joel Osoro to send Stadium Light into absolute raptures. Chris Coleman runs onto the pitch, tears his shirt off, beats his chest, and we rally to stay safe in the Championship for another year.
Oh, nice. 19.65 seconds, that was good. Bromley, are you ready?
Not really.
Concentrate. I know it's hard.
Oh, you've been playing Preston.
Preston, aye.
I've got that stage where Preston, alright, next game. Okay.
I forget. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go.
3-3, because last time I saw Preston was a midweek Tuesday postponed game and it finished 3-3 and they scored a free kick in the last minute. So I think that's going to happen again.
Do you have anything more to add? Do you only use 9 seconds?
That's it, really.
Sound. Gav?
I'm going for 2-0 Preston. I think we've lost the plot at this stage. I think the fans know that we're down, even though the maths don't say as much. I would like to see Coleman be a bit more adventurous with his team selection, but if Ashley Fletcher starts again, then I might just top myself.
That was very, very nicely done. 19.83. Uses the time well, unlike Bromley.
But you gave Nichols a win one week because he used 3 seconds.
I did not give him the win. I said it was better than yours. I gave Gav the win that week.
I win this feature every week.
I think Chris actually won that one.
No,
for me.
yeah, Chris, you were good.
Silly shite. He was talking more about what was happening after the game than what was happening in the game.
No, that was
He
during
was
the game. Coleman was going to run on the second goal and rip his shirt off. That's what's going to happen.
I thought Chris's was entertaining.
Was anyone at that Preston 3-3 game? In 03 or 4?
No.
When was that?
I think it was 03 or 4.
03 or 4. Was it
Do you
at
remember
home?
who scored?
Yeah,
Okay, well, I've been there.
it was postponed. It was a postponed game, and then they scored a spawny free kick last minute.
A spawny free
I
kick.
don't remember it, but I will have been there.
It like deflected in or something. I can't
Spawning, I've never heard that before.
We don't tend to do very well at Preston, to be honest. I remember when Keane was manager, we lost there, I think.
We lost there. What would we do at home?
I think we lost.
Did we?
Yeah,
It sounds very Sunderland like to lose.
Against Preston. Very similar to lose.
Are they still doing all right? They were around the playoffs last time we played them, I think. They were doing quite well, weren't they?
They're just a steady Eddie. They're 10th every year.
Well, there we go. That's the type of team we'll lose to.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
We'll lose to every team, obviously, but like generally speaking,
I was going to say.
team
Preston sounds like a team would lose to, doesn't it?
just a hard-working team that's got nothing to
Sunderland,
lose.
Preston 4.
I tell you what, he would have been a manager for us in the summer like Alex Neil.
You reckon?
Not because he was free and available. We could have had him. We didn't. We decided to take the man that he replaced.
We decided to float with Derek McInnes for all of the summer, and then when we got
Imagine-
knocked back, we panicked and pointed at Wally.
We should have got Neil Warnock as well.
Neil Warnock's
Warnock
a
was
genius,
already
man.
at Cardiff.
He
though.
was, but he's a
But he
genius.
hadn't signed. Like he
No, I think
wasn't
he had,
sure if he
aye.
was going back.
Nah, he would have. He might have took the Sunderland job, but he is what you need in the situation like ours. He took Cardiff from being quite bad.
Cardiff were
Yeah.
on the verge of.
I've said it quite a few times,
Disaster.
like, but I've like his book is brilliant. Like, I totally changed my opinion of Neil Warnock when I read that book.
You
Someone-
watched the YouTube documentary.
That's classic. That like, but his book. If anyone's not read it, it's really good. It's about he had 3 really difficult jobs off the bounce. It was like I think it was Palace, QPR, and Leeds. And every one of them went through an ownership change while he was there. And it's just him talking about his methods and stuff. Really good. Like, he got QPR promoted with the biggest dickhead in the world as his captain, and that was his.
Adel Tarap.
Yeah, he made Tarap captain because he knew that would get the best out of him, and it did. And that's what got him promoted. Just little things like that. No one, if it was Sunderland, to be honest, though, he would end up getting relegated doing something stupid like that.
And we're not even on commission to sell his book, so
No.
if you want something selling on this podcast or plugging, then please get in touch with @Roker Report.
Yeah, we are dangerously low on sweets.
Dangerously low. I
Yeah.
have still got some in the house from SAFC North Yorkshire that I've been meaning to bring in, but I just forgot.
You mean you've eaten them?
No, there's loads left. There's sherbet and all sorts and lollies, and I just forgot.
Keep it for Halloween.
I just want to
Every day's Halloween when Bromley's around.
slightly aside thing, right? What do you think out of the 3 teams top of the Championship right now, with Wolves, with Espirito, you've got Cardiff with Warnock and Villa with Bruce, assuming them the 3 that go up, who out of those 3 does the best in the Premier League, or do they all just come straight back down?
Wolves. Just with the money
Wolves
behind
do
them.
best,
Yeah.
If provided they don't get done for the amount of money that they've spent and the dodgy way, because it is weirdly, like, I don't know, I don't think there's been anything like it in the Championship where they've had just allowed an agent to run a club, basically. If they can get away with that a year in the Premier League, they'll be fine, because they're already talking about signing like players from Porto and Benfica and stuff. I think they'll be fine. I think of all the teams, there was a point when they were saying like, oh, Wolves could probably finish mid-table. I know they've tailed off a bit, but like, you just watch them and you think they would do all right in the Premier League against some of the shit teams.
Well, that Wolves chat concludes the podcast, unless you've got anything to add, Bromley.
I was just going to say, I would fancy Villa.
Wolves cast, Villa cast.
I just reckon Cardiff will go down. That's all I reckon. I just don't think they'll do very well. Premier League.
Aye, Dad, Cardiff are going down. You shite.
Aye, if Cardiff have any aspirations of staying up, they should.
I live every day just to watch Vincent Tan bow his own team off the pitch with his Cardiff shirt tucked into his trousers.
He looks like a Bond villain. Him.
Oh, he so is.
That was a good game. That.
I can't believe he's still there. Anyway,
this is how interesting Sunderland are. We've started talking about
I can't stand any more of it.
Talk about Vincent Tan.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we make the podcast like Sunderland for 10 minutes and then we'll talk about something else?
I can do anything other than football.
We'll talk about what's your favourite ice cream and stuff like that.
Mint chocolate.
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's chocolate brownie.
Chocolate brownie's alright, but the caramel one's decent as well.
Feast.
If anybody wants to send us any Ben and Jerry's, then get in touch.
It'll be melted by the time.
I'll keep it in the little freezer bag, mate.
Okay.
If anyone could send us a freezer box and some ice cream for the podcast.
Just anything, really.
Oh, one last thing before we go, if anyone's still listening at this point.
Well done, first.
We've got a signed Sunderland shirt from this season to give away. Just let us know on Twitter if anyone would be asked about entering a competition for it, because otherwise it's going on the fire. No, we've got this season's top. I'm just looking at it now in front of us. We've got this season's top and a certificate of authenticity, kindly given to us by club sponsors Daffabet, who are very, very good at Roker Report. It's got every player's signature on it, so if you want something to wipe your arse with, let us know.
Has it got Rodwell?
There's no even point of like running a competition. If you want this shirt, just tell us like in 100 words or less why you deserve this shirt, and we'll.
In all fairness, there will be people who would appreciate this. A lot more now. I've got no use for a signed shirt. We've got two. We're gonna keep one for the set for the TV studio, and the other one we will decide at a later date what to do with. So, if anyone's got any good causes that could use a signed shirt, there we go.
It's just
let us know.
Just scribbles, to be honest.
Because
there
might be someone doing a raffle for a charity or a kids' footy team or something.
Precisely.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to it. Just let us know.
To a good cause, right? Well, thank you to Daffabet for that. For those signed shirts. We will be back with a pod on Monday. We also have Roker Report TV with myself and Connor Bromley on Wednesday. Expect that Wednesday night, Thursday morning at the latest.
Wednesday, because I think
probably
we're
Wednesday night.
We're
going to have this week sorted out. We are on Twitter at Roker Report. We are on Instagram at Roker Report. Facebook /Roker Report. And we are on YouTube, which is, what's the YouTube Addy again?
/Roker Report SAFC.
You just type it and you'll get it anyway. And
just search YouTube for Roker Report and it comes up.
Thanks to our sponsors, Church Lane. They have a St Patrick's Day burger on this week.
Oh, nice. What is it? Describe it.
I'm not actually sure what
it's got. Guinness in the beef or something.
I think so. But it's. I think we'll have to pop down and try one of them. Definitely.
I need to try one next time. No, that's you put your face. I reckon like beef with Guinness in would be lush.
Copley doesn't eat beef.
I don't eat beef. I always have the chicken when I go.
Doesn't eat beef.
Not a fan of beef.
Last time we were there, the wifey got his order wrong.
she was very. To be fair to that wifey, she was most helpful.
She was really nice, but I was like, Copley man, just fucking eat it. It's the same big. I just wants chicken, wants beef, and he's like, don't eat beef texture.
Didn't quite say it like that. He said, I don't eat beef, Connor. I just don't like it. Actually, to be fair, I like a bit of like tender beef and gravy, but
did you not like a good steak?
No.
For the
steak and blowjob day, I change it. Chicken and blowjob day.
Chicken and blowjob day.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Well, I don't.
Whatever.
Gav doesn't like blowjobs. Pass it on.
I don't need to assert my masculinity through beef, lads. It's all right.
I like a rare steak.
Can you stop playing with the chair, please? It's making a lot of noise.
Nobody's listening now.
Yeah, we've lost everyone at this point.
We have. Right. Anyway, thank you for listening once again. Chris, cheers for coming on.
Any bother.
Gav, as always, a pleasure.
No problem.
Connor Bromley, we're gonna spend all fucking week with you, bud.
No, Friday's off.
Fridays off.
We'll see each other on Friday.
You'll probably still be messaging us every 3 times.
Text every 2 seconds.
Oh,
listen, you babe.
Text us.
What are you up to? What are you up to?
11
Nothing,
o'clock
Connor.
To remind us to bring something. When I was already at my girlfriend.
But it's not my fault you were already married, is it?
I'm married.
Aye.
Not married.
Yeah, you are. You got a ring on your finger.
Yep.
Hasn't he?
That's fine. You know what? I'll be.
What shirts is World Habitat Day?
Yeah, right. Because I used to be a volunteer in Florida, Habitat for Humanity, building houses for the poor.
Middle class people do tend to do that every now and again, though, don't they?
Did you have dreadlocks and braids in your hair and shit?
Nah.
Right, anyway, this is really boring for the listeners now.
Yeah, if you made it to the end, thank you very much.
Yeah, let us know if you did make it to the end. Right, we are the Roker Report Podcast, and we are signing off. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.